1/5 of them interrupted their own sleep to check their phones. If you knew just 1% of what these people knew, you'd realize these devices are like handing a loaded gun to a child. Who's picked up the device, maybe a phone, maybe a tablet, then they said, why did I pick this up again? Now parents don't like me because I tell the kids, make your parents screen trap. We all know what a screen is, but who knows what a trap is? What's a trap?
It's like when you're like doing something for hours and hours. Or like when you stop.
When you start? Yeah?
Like when you're stopping, like, basically you can't get out, or you're basically like done for.
Now I heard this today, this definition today, just today on the way here, I was listening to something. And they said a trap is something that lures you in, yeah, and then keeps you in. There's 2 conditions for a trap. Something that attracts something, an animal or whatever. It has something that it wants. Yeah? It comes towards that thing. And then it keeps it. It stops it from getting out. And different traps work in different ways. Some traps, they physically hold you in a cage or something. Or they grab like a mouse trap. Yeah? But some traps, they, like the screen trap, it doesn't grab you physically. It extends its tentacles into your brain and central nervous system. And it stops you from wanting to leave. Which is more dangerous, a trap? One that physically holds you or one that invades your brain? What do you think? Invades the brain, because you become a slave to that thing. Right? It's much harder, it's easier to punch open a trap, something physical. If something's invading your brain, it's changing how your brain is wired, it's taking over some of your thinking, some of your emotions, some of your feelings. Right? That's even more dangerous. Now, who has a phone? Yeah? Put your hand up if you don't have a phone, a smartphone. MashaAllah. There's still hope for the Ummah. Yeah? You know, parents don't like me and kids don't like me either. But for different reasons. Yeah? You'll find out in a minute. Okay? The kids don't like me because I tell parents, you shouldn't give your kids a smartphone until they're 25 years old. That's why kids don't like me. Yeah? No smartphones until you're 25. Means you can pay taxes, you can get a job, you can get wife and kids. Yeah? Before you get a smartphone. You can drive legally, but don't have a smartphone. And there's a reason for that. I'll tell you in a minute, inshallah. Now parents don't like me because I tell the kids, make your parents buy you computer games. Yeah? Real expensive computer games. Because I have a rule. No free computer games. No free games. Yeah? And this is why parents don't like me. And I'll tell you in a minute. Okay? In order to understand this, let me ask you a question. Who has one day picked up a phone? Yeah? Maybe they got a notification, a little buzz. You tuck, 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 tuck. One thing led to another. You press the link, you open the message, you reacted to what was in there. One thing leads to another, and you think, wow, it's been half an hour already. Has that happened to you? Put your hand up.
Yeah.
People are nodding, I know it's happened to you. Yeah? And let me ask you this question. Who's picked up the device, maybe a phone, maybe a tablet, and then they said, why did I pick this up again? Yeah? It's happened. That is by design. Yeah? That's by design. Now lots of people, lots of parents, they think it's just the latest toy, you know. When I was a kid, I used to have a Nintendo NES. yeah, or a Sega Mega Drive or something, and I used to be playing that toy, and my dad used to go, stop, you know, he's going to give you, it's going to ruin your eyesight. By the way, he was right. But anyway, he said, stop, you know, stop ruining, and then, you know, his dad before him, you know, he was playing with a little wooden horse or whatever, and he would be like, stop playing with the wooden horse, or, you know, it's going to mess up your whatever. And then his dad before him, he's like, stop playing with that stone tablet, you know, playing with your, well, why don't you go and play outside or something? And it's just, parents complain, right? Parents complain,
Yep.
whatever their kids, yep. Parents complain whenever their kids do something, you know, play with a toy too much, and they say, you know, stop playing and, you know, do something more productive with your life. And, you know, the phones and the tablets, and it's just the latest thing, right? Wrong. Wrong. Yeah? It's so wrong, it's like the opposite of right. And I'm going to tell you why. Okay, because lots of people think the phone is just like the last toy of the last few generations, or whatever, everyone complains, you know. Like when the radio was invented. Imagine people like, people just sitting around listening to a radio, they're not going outside enjoying the sunshine. Then the TV was invented. People are like, oh no, people are just watching TV, nobody's listening to the radio anymore. And then the telephone was invented. No, the old one, not this one, the one that you have to go tuck, 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 tuck. They're like, you know, what's this going to do to their brains? They're putting all this electricity next to it. And people are alright, the world didn't end. It's just the next one in that line, right? No. You see what these things have in common. This thing, laptops, computer games, every successful social media networking site, every successful game, what they have in common is behind these screens are teams and teams and teams of people, yeah, that design that thing, that optimize that thing in order to do one thing. It's not to make a good device, it's not to make the device better or more efficient, it's not for your long-term health, it's not for your iman, it's not for your success, okay? What is it?
To trap you.
Your eyes.
To lure you, your eyes, what else? Attract you, to trap you. Why? To do what? It's really important to know this, because, okay, we might think, well, people aren't evil. It's not like some evil group of people saying, how do we destroy people's lives? Let's invent smartphones and put loads of free games on there and do this. No, people are, you know, generally people, they have some ethics, right? They're not going to make something that's going to destroy you and rewire your, reprogram your brain and central nervous system. But it's not their choice anymore. See, what the economy we live in, okay, the economy, some people say the economy is how we deal with, how we manage scarce resources. Yeah? People thought when human beings went out of field and agriculture and they went into, you know, after the age of exploiting, you know, fossil fuels and machines and industrial kind of processes, and after that when computers were invented, people thought we're in the information economy. Yeah, information economy. Now, if we say your economy is, or your economics is how you deal with scarce resources, do you think there's a scarcity of information anywhere? Scarcity means there's little of it. It's a bit like being rare. Yeah, if something's rare, it's valuable, right? If somebody wants that thing if it's rare. Is information rare on the internet? No. You just Google something, you get a bajillion results. So what's that rare thing that everyone's trying to get more of? It's not money. Money you can just print more and more. Yeah? How do they ensure that they get the most rare object in the world right now? What is it? Pardon?
Buy the latest stuff.
Buy the latest stuff, but how are they making you buy the latest stuff?
It's because like they're just giving it like good, like they're giving you good commercials that makes people want to buy it. It's making it look attractive, but it's actually not attracting at all.
It's making it look attractive. It's kind of on the right track there, in the back, yeah? They kind of make you want it. Now you're all right in different ways. Let me explain my way. Okay? The thing that is scarce, the thing that is rare is what? Your attention and my attention. Okay? This is what is rare. Your attention and my attention is a scarce commodity, is a rare thing that these people are competing for. Now, what's wrong with that? Don't people always compete for your attention? Whenever they want to sell you something, even from the first time anyone invented selling a product, they're trying to get your attention, right?
Yeah.
Or they're selling an idea, or they're whatever. Isn't it the same as that? No. They're really good at it. That's what's different. These attention engineers, they utilize hundreds of years of accumulated knowledge and wisdom in psychology, what makes you tick, what makes you click, okay, to do one thing, to lace their products, okay, with hijacking techniques, with compulsion techniques, to make you fracture and grab a bit of your attention. And the thing that they're all competing for is increasing the time you spend on that device, that service, that social media site. Okay? Again, how is it different to anyone else selling a product? There was a man called Michael Kaczynski from Cambridge University. He did a study with some colleagues from Stanford University. Who knows of a website your parents or grandparents probably used called Facebook? Yeah,
everybody knows that.
So Facebook, it has some publicly available information about you. Okay, like when you click like on something, or say Salman but click like on Honda cars page, click like. So they said with knowledge of 15 of your likes that are publicly available, we can predict aspects of your personality better than your average coworker. Meaning, if you ask me to do a psychological test or whatever, a personality or whatever quiz, they'll be able to, with knowledge of 15 of their likes, they'll be able to predict my personality and my character and things about me better than my coworker on average. Fair enough? Okay, it's logical, right? But with knowledge of 150 of those publicly visible likes, they'll be able to predict your personality better than your own mother. Who knows you better than your mother? Yeah? Obviously Allah, yeah? Which human being? With knowledge of 300 of your likes, they can predict you better than your spouse. And he said something really interesting. He said, our smartphone is a vast psychological questionnaire that we are constantly filling out, both consciously and unconsciously. We're always filling it out. We're always filling it out. We're always filling it out. Not knowing. Why? Why do they? This is just the publicly visible information what Facebook collects. What Facebook also collects, which other people don't have access to without buying it, which they do, they buy and sell this, is what you like, what you dislike. When you write a comment and you delete it without pressing send, that's stored as well. Okay? And other sites collect other types of data as well, like TikTok. You all know about TikTok, yeah? In 2021, they changed their terms of service to include getting biometric data from your camera and your microphone, meaning they can tell when you said, when you looked at something funny, that feedback they got about what makes you tick, what makes you click. So they're using all of this information, okay, to do one thing. They know what makes you tick, they know what you like, what you dislike, okay, to do one thing: increase time you spend on that service or app or site or device. Now, if it was just that, it would have been fair enough. Okay, it's still human beings at the end of the day, and human beings aren't going to be that evil, are they? At least they have some humanity. They're not going to sit and put tentacles into your brains trying to control you. But unfortunately, someone called Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khawarizmi a few hundred years ago, he invented something. It's called the algorithm. Yeah? Now, what this means is they program computers with, I was going to say simple, they're not simple, with instructions, like a recipe. An algorithm is like a recipe. Yeah? But for someone who's really, really, really dumb. Yeah? Like how to bake a cake, the algorithm for baking cake. Go and acquire 2 eggs. Break the eggs, put the eggs in the... Be really detailed. Okay, once you have the eggs in the bowl, get some flour, put this much flour in the bowl, and mix it for this many seconds. That's an algorithm. Okay? This industry, this economy, these attention engineers, they create the apps, they create the free games. Okay, I'll talk about the paid games later, inshallah. They create these free games, they create these social media sites, these streaming services, and they're rewarded for one thing, they're aiming for one thing, which is what? Increase your attention, the amount of attention they grab from you, and keep it, the time they spend on site. They've given that task to machines now to do it themselves. Okay, so it's out of the human being's control. It's out of the human being's hands. Well, a human being would have stopped here and said, no, we're not going to do this. This is too extreme. Yeah, this is going to harm people. Machines don't care about that. The human being just told the machine, here's all the information on what makes Yusuf and Fatima tick and click, what makes them do whatever you want them to do. All we want them to do is increase the time they spend on this service. Yallah, there you go. Press, activate, run, and the rest is history. What impact is this having now? What impact is this having? This is creating a whole new set of diseases and mental health issues and disorders. Who knows what FOMO is? Yeah? Fear of missing out. A new anxiety disorder. These stats, like the Imam was saying, some of these stats are way out of date. In 2016, The Guardian there was a survey on secondary school students. 1/5 of them, approximately, interrupted their own sleep to check their phones. Yeah? They interrupted their own sleep. A disturbing percentage of them in 2011, 2013, when basically smartphones became common, front-facing cameras, and a website or an app called Instagram became popular amongst the youth. There was a hockey stick style increase in mental health disorders, especially in young women, suicide, yeah, and all manner of anxiety disorders and mental health disorders. Okay, especially with Instagram, for example, a new disorder is created called compare and despair. But they would see someone else, these airbrushed, models and stuff like that, and compare it to their own self. Get, depression and anxiety disorders and all manner of things. Sharp increase, like almost a straight line up on the graph. Subhanallah. Yeah. You might have heard recently, in the last week or so, Australia is has tried to ban social media for under 16s, for example, right? And people are going to try and addressing this problem in different ways, but it requires us to be cognizant, to be clever, to be intelligent as to knowing what the threats are out there. You know, who knows what Steve Jobs is or was? Yeah, one of the founders of Apple, CEO for many years. A New York Times journalist asked him in an interview, he said, what do your kids think of the new iPad? Do you know what he said? I don't know, we haven't given it to them. Yeah. And tech boss after tech boss after tech boss says the same things. One said, my kids accuse my wife and I of being fascists with how strict we are with tech. They say none of our friends have these rules. Does this sound familiar? Do you say this to your parents sometimes? Why are you so strict? None of my friends have these rules. What do these people know that your friends' parents or their kids' friends' parents don't know? They know about these devices. They won't give it to their own kids. They won't give it to their own kids. They'll give it to you. They'll let your parents buy and give it to you, or they won't tell them the dangers of this. But if you knew just 1% of what these people knew, you'd realize these devices are like handing a loaded gun to a child. Why? Facebook's founding president, Sean Parker, he said, just Facebook as an example, because he was like a whistleblower, he said, Facebook's architects exploited a vulnerability in the human brain and exploited that to make Facebook what it is today, to one of the biggest social media sites. And they're all doing the same thing, right? Again, at the beginning, it might have just been just harmless, this is uncharted territory, we don't know what's going to happen. But once they hand it over to machines, okay, artificial intelligence, machine learning programs, they just do whatever it takes to get all of they know what makes you tick, what makes you click, how to lure you in, how to trap you, in order to do one thing. Not to make you a healthier person, not even to sell you anything. Okay? Because the higher level than selling you something, if I sell you something, you're the consumer. Okay? I still need you. But what they're doing is not selling you something. They're giving you something for free. They're selling something from you to someone else. They're they're mining you for raw materials to predict future human behavior better and more accurately, to then sell that or sell your attention to someone else. Especially if something is free, this is why I'm against free games, you're the product. Okay? Selling you something is fair enough. It's not inherently evil to sell someone something. Yeah? It's business, it's barakah. I want some water, you got some water, I'll pay you money and give me water. Yeah? Then there's an exchange of two things. I'm an equal level, transactant. I'm a counterparty. But if something is free, you're not the consumer, you're not the customer, you're the product. You are the product. And what's this vulnerability in the young human brain that they exploit? When we're under the age of 25, and this is why I get that year from, okay? When you're under 25, you have an overly active striatum in the midbrain. That part of your brain is connected to pursuit, rewards, reinforcement. Yeah. Who's heard of the chemical called dopamine? Yeah, everyone's heard it's the fun drug. It's the part of your natural part of your brain and central nervous system. That is, one neuroscientist called it the universal currency for pursuit. When it comes to talab, when it comes to pursuing something, whether it's cold and you want to get warm, or whether it's warm and you want to get cool, whether you're hungry and you want to get food, whether it's any desire, any pursuit you have, dopamine is one of the key hormones and neuromodulators that makes you move to get something you want. Okay? When you're under 25, you have an overly active system when it comes in some of these areas when it comes to desire and seeking something that you want, pursuing something. So this lends you towards increased impulsive behavior and risk taking. That's one thing. And under 25, overly active midbrain. And the second thing is still developing prefrontal cortex. This is the front part of your brain, which basically does this. Shh. This is what this part of your brain does. Shh. From elsewhere, the brain says, I want to eat that thing, I want to drink that thing, I want to touch that thing, I want to watch that thing. And the prefrontal cortex, the more it's developed, the louder it can say, shh, you can't do that right now. Shh, be quiet, don't do that. You're able to control yourself more. Okay? And people, for example, subhanAllah, when they have like a tumor in that part of their brain, they become like gambling addicts. Yeah, they feel that they're unable to control themselves. Yeah? And when the tumor is removed, they go back to normal and things like this. Really interesting kind of experiments. Some ways a bit spooky. Yeah? But this makes you, when you're under 25, you have increased impulsive behavior, okay, and a diminished sense of risk and being able to prevent yourself doing something silly, which makes you highly sensitive to short-term rewards with a diminished sense of risk. Okay, this is why you're supposed to, your car insurance is supposed to go down after 25 years old, yeah, because you're statistically, but car insurance is a huge scam anyway, so you probably won't notice. Yeah, because they keep increasing anyway, right? But this is why I say, and kids, are you with me now? Yeah? No smartphones, no internet connected devices that are your own. I'm not talking about borrowing your mom's or borrowing your dad's because you want to do something. No. Having your own smartphone, your own internet connected device until you're 25 years old. Okay? Because these apps, these programs, these social media in particular, I hope none of you kids are on social media, okay? But your friends might be, and you need to understand why we tell you this is bad, but their parents, their communities, they might not realize, they might give their kids these smartphones, these devices, they, log them into TikTok, YouTube, Snapchat, Facebook, Instagram, all these things, right? They don't realize the harms that people like Steve Jobs, people like Bill Gates, people like tech bosses and tech journalists, they know, and they protect their children from these things. That's why, because they exploit, in particular, young people's brains to do one thing. And again, if it was just human beings doing this, we could say, okay, human beings are not going to go past a certain line, because even a non-Muslim person, they have a sense of justice and right and wrong and fitrah that Allah gave to them. But this is out of the hands of human beings. This is done by machines. This is leading to what? When Fatima goes onto social media, she is disproportionately more likely to go on social media when she's feeling anxious or depressed. Okay, this is the case for young women. And the social media algorithms are going to show her things that are going to keep her in that state that increases the time she spends on that thing, which is in a state of anxiety and depression. They don't care about her long-term mental health. It's not human beings that are doing this anymore. So they're going to keep showing her things that are going to keep reinforcing her depression, her anxiety, and this is why these mental health disorders are skyrocketing through the roof. Suicide attempts, depression, anxiety, OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, all manner of mental health illnesses. When young brother Yusuf, he goes to social media because he He spends a long time when he's arguing with people and having fights on social media with his friends or random people, trolling each other. And those algorithms, those machines, those services, keep smiling when I say Yusuf. There's a naughty boy called Yusuf. As everyone called Yusuf. Cameraman. The only one using a phone right now. MashaAllah. But it's okay. Yusuf, another one, not you, mate. Yusuf, he finds that program, it keeps showing him stuff that keeps him getting angry and getting into fights with people. Almost as though it has access to a vast psychological database about what makes him tick and what makes him click, and what makes him increase time spent on site. This is having many, many other different types of impacts on us as well. A guy called Max Stossel, he did an experiment, very interesting experiment. What do you do when someone asks you a question and you don't know the answer? What do you do? Obviously, you go to the library and you spend 3 hours there looking at the different books to try and find the answer, right? Yeah, if you're in the 1950s. What do? You Google it. Everyone Googles it. Yeah? If you're a bit more fancy, you use like different search engines or whatever, but more sophisticated. But simple people like me, would just Google it. You know? He asked 2 friends to Google the same thing. How many crimes do immigrants commit in Europe? And they got completely different results. One of them got Daily Mail, Fox News style, rubbish, taking one example and blowing it out of proportion. And another one got different, the opposite, just kind of giving statistical significance that, it's a tiny minority of people who commit crimes in Europe. Now these 2 people are walking around with completely different understandings of the world around them. Yeah? Those platforms, they're not interested in truth. They're interested in giving you the result that will keep you coming back for more and more and more. Or giving you something that they know 98% accuracy prediction, you're going to click on this thing. They're going to improve their extracting you and mining you for raw materials. If anyone's interested in this, want to go from the deeper level, the underlying theory is called surveillance capitalism. Yeah? Underlying theory is surveillance capitalism. That this is the economic logic on top of which all of this stuff I'm talking about sits. That at its base, for most fundamental basis, they're mining us for raw materials to increase future human behavior with more and more accuracy. I.e., at one point in time, they know that when Salman is driving from this place to that place and we give him an advert about this coffee shop, we have a higher and higher percentage likelihood that he's going to go there. And then people are researching this, they're thinking, where does this leave us when it comes to human agency, my free will? Do I even have my own choices? If some machine somewhere is telling me that if I send this person that advert, or this stimulus, or this news article, or this whatever, this is the result, the reaction they're going to provoke from me. This is where it gets a bit scary, okay? But for us young people, what we're looking at this for, we're looking at protecting ourselves from this trap, from FOMO, from addictions, from depression, anxiety, and so many other issues like self-harm, suicide attempts now, right? Because we're losing what it means not just to be kids, children, we're losing our childhood now. We're slowly losing what it means to be human beings, okay, if we're not careful. Now the law is trying to catch up, they're banning things here and there, they're trying to ban things, but this has to be a cultural change for us. We have to see, as a community, as a culture, we have to see a smartphone in a child's hand the same way that we see a cigarette in a child's hand. And it has to have that same level of stigma. Yeah? Because laws are very blunt instruments. Okay, we need to see, you need to see, you need to realize that when your parents, they tell you, get off the phone, get off this device, give me this, go outside and play, do this, do that. When your parents are telling you, do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that, what are they worried about? They worry about your long-term success. When the device is telling you something, it's saying click here, start another game, click here, stay on me for longer. What does the device care about? Does it care about your long-term success? No.
Dad.
Does it care about truth and falsehood? No. Does it care about your mental health? No. It cares about just fracturing some of your attention and grabbing as much of it as possible. Yeah? Increasing time spent on site. So when you have a contradiction, the device is telling you one thing, continue, press start, press play for a new game, and your parents are telling you another thing, what would the most logical person do? Who would he listen to? The device or the parents? The parents, very good. But there's some people, some kids, like your friends, not you guys, your friends out there, they need help with this. Your friends are, they have phones, and maybe their parents don't love them, we don't know. But maybe their parents do love them, but they don't know about the phones. Yeah? Inshallah, this is the case. Parents, they love their children. They don't give them dangerous things on purpose. But they think this phone is just like the Nintendo I had when I was a kid, the Game Boy, whatever I had when I was a kid. There's nothing to it. No, you have to teach them. And this is very dangerous. This is more addictive than cigarettes and alcohol. Yeah? This is more dangerous than putting you in a physical trap. Because this trap, it puts tentacles into your brain to stop you wanting to leave that trap. Okay? Now, obviously, we want solutions. Yeah? We don't want to just give doom and gloom and the world is ending and the machines are taking over. No. We are very optimistic as believers. Yeah? We are optimistic that Allah has given us the guidance, the ability, the systems, the structures around us, okay, the communities, to fight any attack on our brains, on our bodies, on our iman, on our social fabric. Okay? And I'm going to give a few, maybe 5 tips for all of us to win in the war against these machines and these devices. Okay? And turn them into our slaves. Right now, human beings are turning into their slaves. Okay? We want to flip the script. And we want these to be used in our hands, not using us and controlling us. Okay. Number one tool in every believer's arsenal is what? Dua. Always. The first thing, the last thing, in the middle, we always make dua that Allah protects us from the harms of all of these companies, these devices, these programs, these games, these streaming services, these social media sites. Make sure that you have your relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because Allah will protect you. Yeah? You can take all other means, but if you're ignoring Allah, then you're lost. You have no real true protection. So number one, dua, having a good relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay, Allah will protect you. Sing your morning and evening adhkar. You know some of them? Yeah? In the morning, in the evening, in the afternoon, before sunrise and before sunset. For example, reciting Ayatul Kursi and 3 quls 3 times. Who knows these off by heart? Yeah? Ayatul Kursi, 3 quls. This is easy, everyone knows it. Recite it 3 times, minimum. Before sunrise and before sunset. Okay? And the other things the Prophet ﷺ taught us, nothing can harm you. Protect yourself like a force field. Yeah? Triple force field, nothing can harm you. Now, on another level, now practically speaking, any device that you have, okay, do this one thing. Turn off notifications. Okay? Turn off notifications. I did this course years ago, like at university, about, I think it was about time management or something like this. The lady there, she said, these notifications, they set up like when they use the same biology inside you as when they're teaching dogs to do tricks. Yeah? When you're teaching a dog to do a trick, you don't always give him a Scooby snack or whatever. Yeah, you randomize the reward. Sometimes you give them the treat, sometimes you don't. It keeps the dog coming for more and rewires its brain to learn those tricks. Every time you get a little message bell or notification, yeah, the same, a very similar biochemistry is going on in your brain and central nervous system. You randomize. Well, sometimes you're like, well, what do I get? Oh, nothing happened. Next time you get another notification, you become more sensitized to it. Okay? Turn off notifications. Even if you need to look at your phone 100 times a day, schedule it in your calendar that this time to this time, then I'm going to check my phone or my device or my whatever if you have work to do. Yeah? Don't let it choose when it wants to distract you. You choose when you want to access it. Does that make sense? So the first piece of advice was what? Dua. Second piece of advice was? Dua and azkar, same. Second piece of advice was? Turn off notifications. These notifications, they are expertly designed, like I said, based on decades, if not centuries of accumulated wisdom in human psychology. The color of the little thing they show, the frequency of the tone, the rhythm of the vibration. It's all done to do what? To distract you. To fracture your attention and then grab as much as that is possible. They are designed to distract you. You can't win against these people that have basically all of human knowledge at their disposal to create a program, create the ideal bell notification sound, chime symbol, the whistling sound, whatever. Don't try and go up against it. If you're doing something important, you get that bell, that notification, okay? And then you come back to your work. It sometimes takes 25 minutes to get back to the same level of focus, okay? And it increases your distractibility for the next 3 to 5 hours. Some studies show, okay? This is serious stuff. It increases your distractibility. What does this do? You see the effects on people. They can't even hold eye contact with you when having a conversation with them. This is changing you're rewiring your brain and central nervous system. This is serious stuff. So apart from extremely important things like, I don't know, your Pizza Hut delivery, you need to know when it's coming. Or your Uber when it's coming. Generally all your WhatsApp, your Telegram, your emails, everything, Facebook, whatever. I would say delete the things you don't need. Access them on a computer instead. But those things you need in your phone, don't let them. I'm not even saying how long you spend on it yet. I'm saying when you choose, who chooses when you look at it. Don't let the device choose when you look at it. Make yourself decide, okay, I'm going to, from 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock, I'm going to check all my things on my phone. Yeah? Does that make sense? So turn off notifications. This breaks the cycle of basically making us slaves to these things. Okay? Even on a biochemical level. What number are we on? Number 3. Now, I feel like a hypocrite saying this because it's very difficult for me to do myself. But I guarantee you, all the people I've told and they've implemented this thing, later on they come to this saying, this changed my life. Okay? So try your best to do this. I won't try my best all the time anyway, but because of certain things, work, whatever, sometimes I can't do this. But have a digital sunset. What do you think that means? Yeah? Digital sunset. Young lady?
The sunset is that at the end of the sunset, when the sunset ends, that means like after that time you're not allowed to follow.
Excellent. Digital sunset means what? After a certain time, you choose. Get together as a family, you say 6 o'clock. The Baba, that's a bit early, what about 9 o'clock? The Sunnah, that's a bit late, what about 7:30? Okay, 7:30. After a certain time, you choose as a family. After this time, no electronic devices. Unless you have a pacemaker. Don't turn that off. Yeah, don't get me in trouble. Yeah. After a certain time, put all the devices away and try to exist in real life. Yeah? Maybe have dinner, go for a walk, I don't know, play some chess or whatever. Do something in real life together. And the spirit of this rule is what? Don't make your device the last thing you see at night before you go to sleep. Yeah? Scholars of sleep, that's actually a thing, they say most people are actually biologically jet lagged because of these devices at night. At night, you have certain cells in your eye, even blind people, subhanAllah, certain cells in your eye, providing the optic nerve is still connected obviously, so even blind people, certain cells in your eye are used not for vision, not for seeing, but for detecting what time of day it is by the frequencies of light, photons that hit different parts of your retina, right? So lots of people have what's jet lag? When you go to a country and your body thinks it's 6 o'clock, but it's actually 10 o'clock and it's messing up your sleep and your bodily, circadian rhythm, it's called. So yeah, the idea is don't let a device be the last thing you see when you go to sleep and the first thing you see when you wake up. So digital sunset and digital sunrise. Yeah. Many people, they think, you know what, I need my phone for an alarm clock. What are you saying? If I don't have my phone, then I won't wake up till Fajr and I won't come to the Masjid. Astaghfirullah, the Masjid will be empty. You know, I saw on Black Friday a special new thing on Amazon. These alarm clocks that don't have a phone function in them. You know, they invented these now. Yeah? It's an alarm clock without a phone function. Amazing. It's really cheap as well. That's the amazing thing. It's like £5, £4, you can get one. So you can get an alarm clock that just has a clock and an alarm in it. No emails, no WhatsApp, no games, nothing else. It's amazing. No camera. It's amazing. Like a new invention. Yeah? So you can buy that. You're welcome. I'll save you loads of money as well. Okay? Just watch. Even if it's okay, fair enough, a smartwatch, but you're clear, you understand what the risks are, you turn off the notification that you don't want. Sometimes a smartwatch, so people ask me about smartwatch, sometimes a smartwatch actually helps you. So look at your phone less. People aren't wearing this, don't wear watches, they check their phone for the time, and then they say, oh, look, I've got a notification, I've got an email, I've got this. Having a smartwatch actually stops, if you're clever about it and you set it properly, it stops you taking your phone out. You can see you're going to call, or I don't want to speak to the guy anyway, I'll just I'll answer from here saying, oh, my baby, can't hear you. Yeah. So, if it leads to you reducing your screen time, fair enough, get a smartwatch. Yeah. Another reason for parents to not like me. Get a nice expensive one that tracks your steps and your, how much you ate for lunch or whatever. Yeah. So that's having a digital sunset and digital sunrise. Choose as a family today, okay? So look, after 7 o'clock, for example, after Isha, okay, no electronic devices. You can choose if you want to watch something on TV, whatever. You could be strict, it's up to you. Like, not even on TV, we have to do something in real life. Let's all read a book. Let's listen to, each person take turns reading one chapter, one page. Let's read a storybook or whatever. Yeah? Up to you. but try and do something in real life. Okay? As long as possible you can handle it before you go to sleep. And then after you wake up. After you wake up is very important. Why? Because what happens when you wake up, the first thing you see is your phone. What happens? Who controls what you're thinking about that whole day now? It's not you. Someone else is controlling what you're thinking about. Yeah? The least you can say. You can say go further than mind control and all that kind of stuff, but the least you can say is someone else or something else controlling what you're thinking about. Okay? So, number one piece of advice is what? Dua. Dua, adhkar. Get Allah's force field protection around you and your family. Number two, turn off notifications. Number three, digital sunset and sunrise. Yeah? Choose as a family between this time and the evening and that time in the morning. No electronic devices. Let's all agree, let's put them all in a bucket. You know? Seal it, lock it, put it in the cupboard, whatever, put it on charge. Okay? No electronic devices. What number are we on? Number 4. No smartphones under 25. Who agrees with me? Clever people, mashallah. A lot of people are going to be like, come on man, that's not realistic. I can't even text my son to ask him when his wedding is. Yeah. Come on. But at least you'll know, you'll have it in your memory, some, crazy but handsome guy, he said, 25 years old, no phones under 25. It will be in your brain somewhere. So you'll be thinking, okay, this is not a trivial thing that you just hand over to any child, okay? This is a serious thing. Now, that's why kids don't like me, but parents don't like me because of the second one. Number 5 is what? What are we on? Number 5? No free games. Only the nice, expensive ones. Why do I say this? Because free games, they are laced with these dopamine hijacking techniques. There's even a company called Dopamine Labs. They claim they're ethical or whatever, we don't know who their clients are. But there's people you take your game to, okay, and they say, okay, change the color of this, make this reward system like that, make only a few, this number of plays per day, then you have to wait for this timer to go down, we have to watch a video, an advertisement, or pay extra to get another 10 today, get rid of the clock, do this, do that, make this 10 off, make all of these things to what? To spread their tentacles into your brain and central nervous system to do one thing, increase time spent on that thing. Yeah? And maybe, I don't know, the law is, maybe because it's free, they can get away with doing things that would otherwise be illegal. Yeah? So, when you buy a game on a Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, what are you doing? I don't mean buying the games that are on the phone that someone just made a version of. No, an actual game. Somebody who actually bothered about making the game, yeah, whatever the game is, as long as it's age appropriate, yeah. Not only these, 10-year-olds playing Call of Duty, okay? But the point is, when a company makes a game, they care about the game. They're selling you a product. When someone makes a free game, they don't care about the game, they're just using it to extract raw material from you and extend their tentacles into your brain to control you. Okay? The game is, they don't intend that. Now parents, it doesn't mean you have to get the latest, most expensive one. Go to get them on eBay, get them on Computer Exchange, get second-hand ones. It's the same thing but cheaper. It's free money for you. Yeah? You're welcome. I went to one of these things the other day, actually years ago. I saw like FIFA. What's the latest FIFA?
FIFA 25.
FIFA 25. How much is it? 1,000 pounds. I think that's a bit high. 55 pounds. Then it said FIFA 24, 35 pounds. Right next to it. It said FIFA 23, 15.99. It said FIFA 22, 3 pounds. And then FIFA 20, £1.50. I got that one. It's the same game, people. It's the same game, same mechanics, same everything. Yeah. Be clever as well with your spending. Right? You don't have to get the latest. Graphics are comparable anyway. Within 3 years, you're saving £55, 50 whatever. Yeah. Now, kids, I'm going to throw you another one here. Okay, I'm going to give you something you can use against your parents. Yeah, shh, don't tell anyone I told you this. But you can tell your parents are here. So I'll speak in a frequency that only young people can hear. Can you hear me? Okay, this is frequency only young people can hear. Now you look at the uncles, they're like, what's he saying? What's that weird noise coming out? Okay, I have to be quick with this. Say to your parents, okay, Baba, Mama, I won't get a phone until I'm 25. A smartphone. But in exchange, you can get me a PS5, you can get me a Nintendo Switch, OLED, you can buy me a car on my 17th birthday, you can buy me all these things. Yeah? Car, motorbike, you want some moped, you can get a moped when you're 16. You can buy anything you want. You say, our BMW, whatever, 1 series, yeah? Not M5, you need to be 25 for that. Yeah? You can ask them to buy you anything in exchange for, Mama, Baba, I won't have a smartphone. Because I know the smartphone is trying to control me, extend the tentacles into my brain. So I won't get a smartphone, but in exchange, you can choose. Yeah, you can negotiate with your parents. And if that thing is good for you, that thing is beneficial for you, your parents will buy it for you, inshallah. Make dua. Yeah? Now either your parents get you that thing, or Allah removes the love of that thing if it's bad for you. Yeah? Who knows what I just said? We're going to repeat what I just said. The two things, the one thing that you make dua for, either A or B. This is a dua algorithm. Yeah? Go on.
Make dua that your mom and dad buys it for you.
Or?
Yeah.
Who remembers the second part of the algorithm?
Make them buy something even
No?
remove that.
So, I think one of the uncles heard. Oh, he's a young man heard. Yeah?
Or make Allah take away the desire for that object.
Excellent. So there's an algorithm dua. Yeah? Oh Allah, make my parents buy this thing for me, or if it's bad for me, remove the love of that thing from my heart. So that I only like good things that are good for me. Yeah? That way, you won't destroy your parents' wallet, and you won't destroy something that's bad, something that's good for you. Okay? So, how many tips are we on right now? Okay, we're in real silence. I want one person to repeat all of them for me. Who can repeat all of them, do you think? Complete silence. We've got one candidate here. Anyone else? Okay, go on, sister. Dua and azkar.
Recite your qul and take away the notifications.
Turn off notifications, yeah.
Have like the digital sunrise and sunset.
Digital sunrise, digital sunset.
And instead of like telling your parents for like a smartphone at 25 years old, you can ask for like the games and stuff.
MashaAllah. No phones under 25. Yeah, and instead tell your parents to buy you the
PS5.
nice other games and toys that you want. And no, what's number 5?
No free games.
No free games. You got it? Takbir! MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Now we got one more. We got two bonus ones. One more is for the parents. Okay? Lead by example. Are you a parent? One day, inshallah. 10 years old. You still got like minimum 5 years. Yeah? Are you married?
No.
Okay? The parents is lead by example. What's the reason why a lot of young kids want to have a phone? Because they see mama and baba on the phone all the time. Simple as that. If they saw, it might sound a bit cheesy, but if they saw mama and baba with a mushaf reciting Quran all the time, maybe they'd want their own mushaf. Yeah? Instead. But, if they see us, so be wary, especially when a child is young. Whenever I see my daughter, she's 4-year-old now, she sees one of us, I say, slap the phone. Disgusting. Yeah? So try not to use these things in front of kids. And the second bonus thing is what? Try and engineer experiences and hobbies and events in the kids' day that fulfills two conditions. Okay? It's non-trivial, i.e. there's some significance to it, and it's a bit challenging. If you fulfill two of these things, something that feels important and is a bit of a challenge, it's a bit difficult, okay? It will help us get into what we call states of flow states. Something which is a bit difficult and a bit interesting and it feels important. The more you are in states of flow, okay, concentrate which is a state of hyper focus. Okay, the more you can do this, and the more you practice this, the more generally happy you are in life. Yeah, the more happy is correlated with general happiness and good mental health in life in general. Okay, your ability and how many times per day, for example, or per week, that you are able to sustain hyper-focused activity. You can focus on something. It could be like a hobby, it could be something difficult, it could be, building little things, the difficult Lego projects or whatever. It could be knitting, sewing, cooking something, whatever. Something that's a bit difficult, a bit challenging, and also if it is some importance to that thing. Okay? This, maybe in a future thing we can discuss the science behind why this is so, but this is the advice, actual advice I have for parents. Lead by example and try to engineer times in the children's day, in the week, where you have this type of hyper focus state. That's we'll end it there, inshallah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all and give us the tawfiq to lead on this fight against the machines, inshallah. هذا وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.